Hello, Todd, how are you?
Excellent.
The chief engineer for the new Buick Regal. So let's drive a little bit and you can explain us a little bit what's new in this new car.
Excellent.
New powertrain, right?
Yep, new powertrain. A 2-liter turbo is the new standard powertrain for 2014. 259 horsepower, 295 foot-pounds of torque. And really the story is the torque band. 90% of the available torque is there between 1700 and 5500 RPM, so a very, very wide torque band to provide power.
You know, this is a mid-size sedan, and it used to be that these kind of cars would have 6-cylinder engines, but now everybody seems to be going smaller, but like getting more power out of the car, more efficiency too, more out of the engine. I'm sorry.
It proves, you know, that the 2-liter turbo allows us to get the torque that I just mentioned. 259 horsepower, you know, not too many years ago you needed a V6 to get 259 horsepower, and then still get great fuel economy above and beyond what we could get with the 6-cylinder, and reduces mass, which helps from a fuel efficiency perspective as well. So get the same power and better fuel economy, which is what it's all about.
A good combination. And then you have the e-assist system, right?
E-assist system, yep, for those customers who are still focused on fuel or even additional fuel economy. It's a light hybrid system we call e-assist. It provides 25 miles per gallon city and 36 miles per gallon highway.
Yeah, can you explain a little bit how that system works? Because this, as you said, it's a light hybrid, so can you elaborate a little bit how's the functionality of that system?
Yeah, so 90% of the time, roughly, it works on the engine power, but there's a large battery in the rear, and that battery is continuously charged, and then in certain situations and highway cruise speed, we'll pull power out of the battery and then won't use the engine. So we use the battery in the back to compensate in certain conditions to help improve fuel economy.
And what's the benefit, like in numbers and fuel economy?
So that engine by itself would probably get 21, 31 roughly. So it probably picks up 4 mile per gallon city and 5 or 6 mile per gallon highway.
So it's substantial. I mean, like in the long term, I think people will like really appreciate that.
Yeah, significant improvement.
Yeah, and also being a Buick, I mean, we're driving here, not a very high speed, and the road is a little bit rough in some parts, but nothing. It's quiet. It's beautiful. How you guys do this?
You know, we've called it quiet tuning, library quiet. We've been focused on this for many years now at Buick. We think we've gotten pretty good at it. Acoustic front glass, acoustic laminated glass. You know, the real fundamental is making a very rigid body structure so that the noise can't get the body going into resonance. And then we complement that with sound absorption materials in the inside of the vehicle, and you put that all together, and it really provides a nice quiet driving experience.
And then on top of that, the luxury that is typical in the Buick products, beautiful finishes, and like a new thing, like for example, I really like these new air conditioning controllers, which are like just touch screen. There's no knobs or anything, and they're like pretty nice. I mean, so a lot of detail, right?
A lot of detail. We really went this year for simple detail, though. We wanted to make it easy to use, so when you take your eyes off the straight ahead driving, that the buttons are easier to get at, that there's no distracted driving for the customer. So 8-inch touchscreen, a row of very simple to use knobs below that, and then as you mentioned, the capacitive controls for the dual zone climate control system. So very elegant, very simple for the customer to interface with.
And also a lot of safety in this car, right? Like, I mean, you're pretty much protected everywhere.
Yeah, 360 degrees. There's a Driver Confidence 1 package, which provides useful everyday safety technology: forward collision alert, side blind zone, lane departure warning, which you heard a second ago, rear cross traffic alert. We've got a standard rear camera. So that's a very useful package that comes all together. And then you can option up from there for full speed range adaptive cruise control, which is very useful in stop and go driving. It'll actually bring your vehicle to a stop if the vehicle in front of you slows down at a reasonable rate. So in stop and go traffic in big cities, you put adaptive cruise on, and
it pretty much drives itself. Huh? It's getting there.
It's certainly the first step to that end.
Yeah, and then to top that, all this luxury design, engineering, and technology. I mean, for not a very high price. I mean, this car, the most you can spend of the Regal.
Into the 40s, but then
GS
when you get to that point, you're getting a vehicle that has all-wheel drive,
completely
a GS model, which has continuous damping control, interactive suspension system, which keeps the vehicle, firmly level, and then interactive drive control, which is a very intelligent interaction between the transmission, the steering, the suspension, and the all-wheel drive system that allows the driver to select one of 3 different modes for different driving conditions. You can actually push a button which will stiffen up the steering, it'll stiffen up the suspension. So for that amount of money, there's really a large amount of technology and ride and handling capability in a vehicle this size.
So the Regal is the last model that has been recently redesigned and re-engineered for Buick, right? It was the Verano that came out like not very long ago, like 2 years ago. So you guys are on the roll.
That's right. The Verano has been out less than 2 years, and it's the oldest vehicle in the Buick lineup. The Enclave has been refreshed. The Encore is brand new. The Regal and LaCrosse have both gone through their refresh mid-cycle enhancements. So the Buick lineup is all brand new, all focused on attention to detail, safety, and really driver comfort.
Yeah, and now you enter in a new era, at least more openly about your relationship with Opel in Europe. So that's like the next step for Buick in the next few years?
Absolutely, and so there are 2 good examples right now, the Encore and the Mocha, our small sport utility vehicle. We worked together with Opel to make a vehicle that will work in both markets, and really by working together we were able to focus on making a great vehicle, and the same thing with the Buick Regal and the Opel Insignia. Very similar vehicles. We share some technologies and allows us to make a vehicle that plays in both markets very well and share the synergies between the 2.
Yeah. Are we gonna see anything like going into the direction that the Enclave and the Encore went? Like, so we're gonna be smaller, kind of European type cars here in the U.S. in the coming years?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think the industry is certainly going smaller from a fuel economy perspective. In order to meet the federal requirements for fuel economy, vehicles have to be more fuel efficient. Part of that is mass, and part of that leads to smaller vehicles. So I think that's inevitable.
Well, okay. Thank you very much for that ride, and we're gonna enjoy the turbo engine here driving around Cincinnati.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.